CBS Young and the Restless Spoilers. Welcome back to our channel, fellow Y&R addicts. Today is just another day of me losing my absolute mind over the residents of Genoa City. Grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's dive into the absolute madness that just aired, because I am bursting at the seams here. I cannot believe they just did that. I am literally typing this at 2 a.m. with my jaw still on the floor, because did Phyllis Summers really just do that? I mean, are we seriously watching this right now? I am screaming at my television screen. I am half celebrating and half terrified for her, because this is peak Phyllis, but it's also the most reckless, impulsive thing she's done in years. And I've been watching religiously since 2015, so I've seen my fair share of her chaotic, destructive decisions, but this is next level. Like, I need to vent about this right now before my head explodes from the stress. Am I the only one who jumped entirely off the couch when that ceramic shattered? I just cannot process the sheer audacity of this woman. Okay, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's back up and talk about how we even got to this insane point, because the psychology behind this scene is just fascinating. So, Phyllis has kidnapped Matt Clark. Yes, the same Matt Clark who is currently faking amnesia and acting like he doesn't know his own name or his own violent history. And why is she doing this? Because she is absolutely drowning in that AI evidence trap that Victor Newman and Christine Blair set for her. She is desperate. She is terrified. She is watching her entire life, her freedom and Summers' company, go down the drain because of some fabricated digital footprint. And when Phyllis is desperate, she doesn't just sit down and cry about it. She goes on the offensive. But kidnapping a known psychopath? I'm sorry, but what was the end game here? Oh, right. Her brilliant, completely flawed plan to use him as a bargaining chip with Victor. Because, of course, in Phyllis's twisted, panicked mind, the only way to get the mustache to back off is to hand him the one guy who has been terrorizing the Newman family. She literally wants to wrap Matt up with a bow, drop him at the Newman ranch and say, "Here's your villain. Now, drop the charges against me." It's so delusional, but also so perfectly in character for her. I know some people are loving this boss babe survival mode, but personally, I think she's completely lost the plot. You don't try to out-monster a monster like Matt Clark, and you definitely don't try to out-chess Victor Newman. But there she is, in whatever dark, dingy basement she's keeping him in, thinking she holds all the cards and controls the board. And then the argument starts. Oh my God, the argument. Can we talk about the dialogue in this scene? Matt is tied up, or at least cornered, and he is just hurling the most vicious, nasty insults at her. Because even with his amnesia act, the guy knows exactly how to get under someone's skin and hit them where it hurts the most. He was pushing every single one of her buttons. You just know he was taking digs at her failed marriages, her history of losing to Christine, how everyone in town practically hates her, and probably throwing Summer and Daniel in her face too. He was saying these incredibly cruel things, and you could just see the veins popping in Michelle Stafford's neck. Her acting was off the charts tonight. You could physically feel her rage building up with every nasty word he spat at her. But here's the thing, Matt isn't stupid. Mid-argument, you can see the exact moment he realizes that Phyllis isn't just threatening him, she actually intends to hand him over to Victor. And Matt knows that Victor Newman will not hesitate to end him, especially after what happened to Nick with the drugs. So suddenly, the dynamic shifts completely. Matt goes from being this smug, taunting jerk to actually panicking. He realizes he needs to escape immediately. He completely loses whatever twisted sliver of trust he had in this hostage situation, which, by the way, is hilarious to me. Like he trusted his kidnapper, but I guess he thought he could manipulate her, and when he realized she was dead set on the Victor plan, the sheer panic set in. So Matt starts trying to find a way out. He is desperately looking for an exit, thrashing around, trying to break free, and the screaming match just escalates to a level that had me reaching for the volume button on my remote. They were screaming, just absolute vocal cord shredding yelling. Phyllis is shrieking about how he ruined everything, how she's going to get her life back, how he is going to pay for what he's done, and Matt is roaring right back at her, refusing to be a pawn in her pathetic little game. The tension in that room was so thick you could cut it with a knife. It felt like a ticking time bomb, and I was just sitting there biting my nails, waiting for one of them to snap, because you have two cornered animals in a room, and neither one of them has a moral compass anymore. I mean, remember when they tried this kind of claustrophobic hostage storyline with other characters in the past? Yeah, it didn't work then either. Usually because the stakes felt fake or the acting was stiff. But this felt genuinely dangerous. Matt is a legitimate threat. He's the guy who just put Nick in the hospital with a drug overdose, for crying out loud. He is lethal. And Phyllis is standing there in her designer clothes, thinking she can control him with sheer willpower. It's the sheer arrogance for me. She actually believed she had the upper hand until Matt started physically overpowering the situation and looking for an out. He turns his back on her, which rule number one of Genoa City survival: never turn your back on Phyllis Summers when she's backed into a corner and seeing red. And then she does it. He turns around, probably thinking he's found a way out or just dismissing her because he thinks she's weak, and Phyllis's eyes just go completely dead. She grabs the nearest heavy object, this massive, ridiculous decorative vase, and she just swings it with everything she has. Thwack. The sound editing on that hit was brutal. By the way, she smashed that vase right over the back of his head, and Matt just crumbled. He drops to the floor like a sack of potatoes, completely knocked out cold. I literally screamed at my TV. Yes, Phyllis. No, Phyllis. What are you doing? I was contradicting myself in real time because part of me was cheering that she finally shut him up, but the logical part of my brain was panicking, like, girl, you just assaulted a man and now you have an unconscious body to deal with, because what is her plan now? You can't march an unconscious, bleeding Matt Clark into Newman Enterprises and demand a sit-down meeting with Victor. She has completely derailed her own half-baked plan. But honestly, this is classic Phyllis. React first, explain later. She let her emotions completely take over her logic. He made her mad. He threatened her escape route, so she neutralized the threat in the most violent, impulsive way possible. It takes me back to the old days, like when she ran down Paul and Christine with that rental car. When Phyllis snaps, she goes physical. And hitting him with a vase is just so classic soap opera I can't even be mad at it. It's camp, it's dramatic, and it is exactly what I tune in for every single day. And let's just pause for a second and think about Victor's reaction if her plan had actually worked. Let's say Matt didn't fight back, and Phyllis successfully delivered him to the ranch. Does anyone actually believe Victor Newman would honor a deal with Phyllis Summers? I am sorry, but no. Victor has been waiting decades to crush her. He set up this entire AI evidence trap specifically to watch her squirm and lose Summers' company. He wouldn't just say, "Oh, thank you for Matt, all is forgiven." He would take Matt, lock him in his own private Newman dungeon, and then call Christine Blair to arrest Phyllis anyway. That is how Victor operates. He uses people and discards them. So, in a weird way, smashing that vase over Matt's head might have actually saved Phyllis from humiliating herself in front of Victor. Not that she sees it that way right now, but still. But seriously, let's analyze the massive fallout of this, because I am dreading what comes next for her. Matt is out cold on the floor. Phyllis is standing there panting, holding a broken piece of ceramic, probably realizing the massive, catastrophic mistake she just made, because now she doesn't just have a hostage. She has an injured hostage who is going to be 10 times more furious when he wakes up. And we know from the spoilers and the timeline that Sienna Bacall is lurking around somewhere in the shadows. Oh my God. Sienna. If Sienna walks in and sees Matt bleeding on the floor, Phyllis is going to be the one leaving in a body bag. Sienna is fiercely loyal to Matt, and she is completely unhinged. Phyllis has no idea the hornet's nest. She just kicked by striking him. I know some fans are probably rolling their eyes and saying Phyllis deserves whatever she gets because she brought this entirely on herself. And look, I'm not saying she's innocent here. She walked right into Victor's trap. She alienated Michael and Lauren when they tried to help her. And she pushed Daniel away. She isolated herself completely, which led directly to this desperate kidnapping plot. But you have to admit, watching her fight for her life is incredible television. I just hope the writers don't use this to completely destroy her character beyond repair. We need Phyllis to have a win, even if it's a messy, vase-smashing kind of win. But with Matt waking up eventually and Sienna on the prowl, I have a terrible feeling this is going to backfire spectacularly. So what do you guys think? Am I crazy for kind of loving this unhinged Phyllis era? Or do you think she's completely crossed the line this time and there is no coming back from this? Because let's be real, she is trying to play a high-stakes game of chess with Victor Newman using a pawn she just gave a massive concussion to. It's a complete disaster waiting to happen. I am going to be glued to my screen tomorrow because I need to see how she cleans up this mess. She's probably going to try and drag his heavy, unconscious body across the floor, and I am absolutely here for every pathetic, dramatic second of it. Let me know your thoughts down below, because I clearly cannot process this alone.